LinkedIn, from Twitter, from YouTube, from Twitch. So that should be good. And then just in case we miss anything from LinkedIn, because occasionally there's a slight lag, I want to pull up the LinkedIn stream. Make sure it's going good. There we go. LinkedIn stream. Perfect. Nice.
I've dropped. Actually, if you want, I've dropped. Probably got your own, but I dropped a load of stuff into my show notes thing. It's based on the one you showed the other day.
Yes. If you could drop that in the chat, that would be awesome. Oh, no, wait, I got this. I have it right here. Perfect. Okay, we're good.
Oh, is it gone?
Okay, cool. So, let me do my little intro thing like we usually do. Hey everybody, my name is Max. This is Entrepreneur, and today we are going to be interviewing a friend of mine, Martyn Bromley. And he's built a couple of really cool things. He's a really, really awesome no-code maker. And he's, first of all, going to teach us a bunch of stuff about Glide, because he's a pro in Glide. If you remember, we used Glide a little while ago to build just a little test Entrepreneur app, and I was able to throw it together in literally, I think we timed it 4 minutes and 3 seconds. But we were worried because it seemed like it was template focused, and we couldn't really do anything beyond that. Turns out you can. I just wasn't digging into it enough. Martyn's done a whole ton of stuff with this, and he's built a couple of really, really awesome little platforms. He's a pro no-code maker, so he's going to show us some really cool stuff. We're possibly going to even, if we have time, launch something on the stream. Should be a really good time, though. We'll mostly be riffing, so that'll be a good time. I have 2 sponsors, as you know, Restream and V1. You know the shtick. Restream is the tool that I use to live stream. Really, really great tool. Absolutely love it. Highly recommend it. If you need to get started, please let me know. And then V1 is a no-code tool that I absolutely adore. Kevin says, bro, my schedule is whack. My schedule's whack too, man. I feel ya. I did stream yesterday. We're streaming today too. It's a little bit funky. But yeah, V1 and Restream. V1 is a no-code phone app maker. Really, really fun. Similar to Glide, but they have a bit more custom functionality in terms of what you can build, and they're very, very design-focused. So I really like them for that reason. I'm going to grab a big fat link, and then I'm going to paste it in the chat if anybody is interested in checking out either of those tools, of course. What's up, George? How's it going? So that should be good. And then on here, I'm going to paste this. I'm going to go to @v.1 and v.1, boom. Paste it there. So cool. Now it's in the LinkedIn chat, and now it's in the Restream chat as well. Good, man. That's awesome. I'm glad you're doing good. So let me introduce Martyn. Bah. So he's hiding his camera right now. There he is.
Hey, Max. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Just been tidying up a few bits to my latest project, but yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. This will be a lot of fun. I'm excited to have you on the show. So, would love to hear a little bit of an intro about you, what you do. We'll go over, I think, Maker Market, which is one of Martyn's really, really cool projects that he's been building for a while. We're actually going to try to make some stuff on the stream for his platform in the future, which will be a lot of fun. But yeah, we'll give a little bit of intro, some stuff he's built, and then we're going to probably dive right into Glide. So I have a little agenda here just so we can make sure to stay on task. But yeah, go for it.
Let's go for it. Yeah, I've been kind of like in no code, I suppose, for a long time, based around like WordPress and stuff, but really digging into like the modern tools now, if you will. So yeah, Card and Glide. I picked up Glide probably about 18 months ago, almost 2 years now, and sort of been on the experts panel for ever since. So I help people with Glide, like off and on. Happy to jump in on a project, but I use it for myself to kind of like hack. And I think one of my things we were joking about the other day, like I like to misuse no-code tools. I think just like taking them and just seeing what you can do with them that they weren't really meant to do. I think it's kind of fun, bend and break them until they do something different. And a lot of things I do, like they're very hacky, and I think you do something similar as well.
Mm-hmm.
The whole no-code space is pretty much about like splicing things together, remixing stuff. So yeah, that's definitely I get a lot of joy out of like breaking something and going, oh, no, it does this. That's fun.
I like it a lot. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm also part of a couple of we're all part of groups now, living completely online. Although it was pretty much my life beforehand, as I'm sure most of us. Not a lot's changed with these kinds of group calls. But yeah, I'm in Launch MBA, which is like a little launch pad. It's kind of based around the Peter Level's idea of doing 12 startups or 12 launches in 12 months. So there's a nice cohort there, different stack of people that I'd never met before, and we're all each other. And for me, the main thing was kind of getting out my own way and like undesigning things. I spent 10 years building stuff to perfection for clients and really wanted to launch my own things that they could feel scrappy. My biggest problem was not launching, so launch made a lot of sense. In fact, it's quite weird, but I tried to launch this concept about 5 years ago, just never launched it. So very ironic. But yeah, part of that, and as my first launch, I made Make a Market, which I think is pretty much how we got in touch in the first place.
Very cool.
So,
yeah, and actually,
can you just pull up Make a Market?
I've seen, yeah, this is
you
Launch
got
MBA.
launched there.
I've actually seen a few of these. I've seen the Angel Philosopher. I've seen No Code List. This is cool. Yeah, some awesome stuff has come out of this. Hey, New Code. Yeah. New Code also came out of this. That's so cool. Okay, awesome. Yeah.
Kieran, also an English guy, he's running it, and yeah, it's a really nice community.
That's super cool. Yeah, and so Maker Market is what you wanted me to jump over to?
Yeah, if you can. So I think this is how we connected through a couple of links and various friends in the space. It's a small world, really, isn't it? But yeah, this is what I built. And if anyone's interested, we can have a quick look behind the scenes here to see how it works. But yeah, it's basically built using Card, obviously, as a quick page builder. It's a Google spreadsheet, which will come up again later when we get to Glide. And then there's a couple of little in-between tools, one called Spread Simple, which actually handles the database. If you scroll down, you can see the database of items in here. And the goal really was just to build like a simple marketplace. Actually, someone posed a question in the launch group in the Slack channel. Can you build a marketplace in Card? And I was like, yes. If you're going to challenge me, then yes, I will build a marketplace in Card. So for me, this was like, how am I going to do this? Glide doesn't actually have a database. Airtable, obviously, we all know and love, but it's kind of just overly complex for some reasons. So I just use Google Sheets. It's kind of my go-to after working with it for so long.
No way.
And then there's this funky little tool called Spread Simple, which had come out about 2 weeks before. It's about 3 months old now. And Spread Simple is kind of like it's getting there. It's kind of like the Glide for desktop. Like it makes really nice desktop sites. And you can use it as just a one item tool. It gives you a basic header, and I think they were actually listing my site for a while in their templates. But again, I'm abusing this because I'm not using their header sections and I'm not using their footers. I'm just like clicking it together to give me an output so I can embed. The core thing there was they gave me an embed code, and I just dropped that into the middle of a Card to give me what is essentially a marketplace in Card.
That's so cool. So you used Spread Simple. You took an embed from you designed the little database or the little like listing via Google Sheets on Spread Simple, and then just embedded it over into Card.
Yep. The actual website page is tiny. Like the Card page is tiny because it's just got this embed in there.
That's so cool. Okay, wait. So interesting. So the actual Card page is tiny. So you designed most of the actual page here in Spread Simple and then just embedded it onto Card. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've got to mess with that. Yeah, because most of it is okay. Yeah, I get you. So only up here is the Card part, and then down here is the whole database that you just. That's so cool. Okay, I had no idea there was anything like that. That's perfect. I've needed something like because that's one of the things that I couldn't solve in Card, but it's this fixes it. Okay, awesome. Spread Simple.
Exactly.
Fuck yeah.
There's also some other versions. I think a couple of days ago, Pori launched as well, and that does basically the same thing but for Airtable. So Pori's really slick, actually.
I really like Pori.
I'm waiting. I'd like to stay in Google Sheets just because it's so simple and it's free, which is also the other thing. Airtable kind of starts to get pricey, but Pori does the same thing for Airtable, and actually Pori's got some like nice little interface features that I'm kind of envious of, but I think they're going to come to Spread Simple really soon. So I've been chatting to both makers and been like, come on, one of you's got to win out, and yeah, I'm kind of holding back on a bit of a refresh in Maker Market because there's a lot of tools that I'm about to add. Like there's a big drop of like 100 new makers products and things.
Heck yeah, that's super awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The goal of the site really was never to be take over from like something like Product Hunt. It's just that if you launch on Product Hunt or you put something out there, especially if you're small and have no status or you're not like a big following, which is kind of where I've come from.
Yep.
I've been in the space, but I've never been active. So this is meant to be like a repository where like anything that's been launched can come and live, because so many makers that I spoke do, like they launch stuff and it kind of just disappears into the abyss, and they might get a little blip for a day or two.
Oh yeah.
But there's nowhere to kind of like say, hey, I make all of these things and you can come and buy them from me, and not, if it's free, you can go in here as well. So the final part of the puzzle to create a marketplace was to use affiliate links, which can be kind of a dirty word, but I think we're all used to them now, being passed around. So obviously, and if you run a marketplace, you are taking a commission. You're the middleman.
Of course, yeah.
So it kind of everyone's kind of clicked on at the same time. There's quite a few places doing this now, but yeah, the idea of a marketplace here in Card to actually profit from it, or to be able to keep it sustainable, is that they all run on Gumroad affiliate links, which is really easy. So hopefully we'll set one of those up later if we get to it.
I would love to know that.
And then you've got a product that you're selling and you want to spread it around. You can set anyone up who's also got a Gumroad account. You put their email in, and then they get their own affiliate link for your product. So, or most of the products in here are actually based on affiliate links, and I'd already spoken to quite a few makers who gave me that in advance. They're like, hey, if you want to share this product. So I use that to kind of like monetize and fully turn it into a marketplace instead of just instead of just one of these sort of lists and lists. There's so many list places now of all the no-code tools and things. This is meant to be about people and their products and something you can purchase.
Yeah, no, there is a huge issue for like people that launch on Product Hunt, do anything like there. It's just a blip, right? It's just the launch. You can't really do anything beyond that. And yes, you can build your own website, but then you have to consistently like either do marketing or run paid ads or find partnerships or do SEO or something like that. So this hopefully will solve part of that problem. I absolutely love it. That's super cool.
Indeed.
Cool.
So that build was pretty simple. I did most of it in about 2 hours, like late one night, as we all like to do. And it was pretty much there. I spent 24 hours refining it off and on. I probably spent about 30 hours in total, like messing with it. As soon as I was ready to launch it in some of the smaller groups that I'm in, I built in obviously analytics and tracking. So I've got like heat maps and because it's all based around links, the quickest way for me to get data about who was clicking on what, instead of digging deep into Google Analytics, which I normally would, just through it's called Pixel Me. You can roll your own link shortener and then use your branded URL, and then you can get some basic tracking data out of that. You can also retarget people for Twitter and Facebook and stuff. So that's all set up there. So it is actually kind of functioning, and I could scale this now. I've already got good data from everyone that's using it.
That's super cool. Okay, yeah. Usually I just use Google Analytics on my card sites. What was the tool again? You said you can use heat maps and stuff?
I've got, there's Hotjar for like professional kind of like heat mapping and analytics, but I've got FlySpy, which is kind of a down and dirty version, which I got off AppSumo on a lifetime deal ages ago.
Love AppSumo.
But yeah, you can use anything really. So I've got some simple analytics tools. And the other one is Pixel Me, which is just, FlySpy is kind of like the hacker version, but and Pixel Me is a French company, I think.
This is so cool.
Yeah, you can use the link shortener, rebranded URLs.
Perfect. Okay, yeah.
There you go. You'll be getting up on that. I should have used one of my retargeting links to send you those.
I love it.
That's meta. Cool. So that's kind of the basic build behind MakerMart market, and I threw it together in 2 hours, so it's very similar to one of your builds. We were chatting about rebuilding it here, but actually we've got some ideas. So I think that the key thing here for me was that I kept it in Google Sheets, because Google Sheets allows me to do lots of cool stuff.
I really like that. I didn't know Pori you could actually embed. I thought Pori was just based off of a few templates using Airtable.
You can embed Pori. It's in the Pro. I think they're both, the embed in both Pori and Spread Simple is in the paid Pro package, which is like $9 a month or something. It's really cheap. Yeah. And I've been chatting with I think it's Sam from Pori quite a bit over the last few weeks to get it working properly, because the only reason I'm not using it is there's something with the CSS or something at the moment, and it's like shrinking everything on the page. So potentially as soon as that happens, I'll might update to use Pori instead. Perfect. But yeah, both tools are really cool.
I'm definitely going to use Spread Simple and then probably Pori for some other stuff, because certain databases that I build, like they have to be in Airtable versus Google Sheets just because it doesn't work nicely. Yeah. But okay, this is perfect. This Spread Simple is like ideal for some stuff that I want to build, because it's all in a Google Sheet and I use Google Sheets religiously. I love this. Also, we got a random follower. Fast. Yeah, no, that's I love the quickness of it. But not enough people. I feel like not enough people use Google Sheets for stuff like this. I've used Sheet to Site before, and that was really nice. That was really fun. but it has to work off of templates, and it's a little bit pricey right now. So if you want to whip something up super quickly, it takes like half an hour. But it's I feel like this is the nice next level solution. I was looking for something like a middleman. We got a random follower. I hope you're still in the chat. I'm Beef Napkin. I usually don't get followers on Twitch, so that's funny. What's up, dude? Like, I would love to know where you found me, where you came from, if you just found me on Twitch, and if you have any questions. But cool, awesome. So if you're down with it, Martyn, we can just jump right into using Glide, and we can share your screen, or we can do whatever you think would be interesting. Go over some of your previous projects.
Yeah, cool. So for Glide, and that's kind of like connecting point, I think, as well. Like the spreadsheet, Glide has always been based on spreadsheets and predominantly Google Docs. They have actually just released their internal database system, which uses their Glide sheets. But Google Sheets will always be supported from as far as I'm aware. So I just really like it. It's so simple, and like you say, you've got loads of projects based on those. So I've got a ton of stuff. If you want to share screen, I can give you a quick whirlwind tour of some silly apps and things that I've built in the past. And a lot of this is super hacky, and just I made it for fun, to test things out, and to, again, back to this kind of misusing, not even of the tool, but of some of the elements of the tool. So for example, in Glide, I'll show you. Can I share now?
Yeah, I think I made you host, so you should be able to share.
Okay. Cool.
And I'll pull your screen over.
Let's have a look.
Glide is super cool, just because I use Google Sheets. I use it for most of my databases. It makes total sense, and like just how rapidly you're able to whip something up if it contains any sort of a database style element into an app is just perfect. And it's just, I really like how quick you can do stuff there. So, okay, cool. You've started sharing.
Cool. Getting ahead of ourselves a little bit here.
Pull this. Boop. Whoops. Exit full screen. I want to make sure everybody can kind of see while at the same time. Connect with you on LinkedIn yesterday. My name is Jake. Say we're live and watch most of me through Twitch. What's up? Awesome. Super cool, dude. I'm glad.
Hey, guys.
Okay, cool. Let's see if I can pull this over. There we go. So now we have a kind of a bigger... Actually, no, let's pull it back from where it was.
So have you built something in Glide before then, Max? Or?
Yes, I have built something in Glide. We built, just so I can actually show you. Or I'll show you afterwards after you kind of go over some of your stuff. But basically what we did is I took the podcast templates, and I just added I had all my little live streams in a Google Sheet with like thumbnails and all these different things. I just used a couple little polls from YouTube, and I rearranged the URLs so I could grab the thumbnails, and then all the video links, all the highlight links, because I have highlight videos as well as normal videos, linked all those to like a number, and it was like number 61, number 62, etc. for all my live streams, and just had them all on a little thing. And then I customized the homepage, said, hey, this is Entrepreneur, great, and then had a little login for people to join, and then a little chat function, of course, just because like it would be the Entrepreneur app, and it would be kind of a little community. But yeah, that's all we built. It took me like 5 minutes, and it was really impressive how quick I was able to whip it up.
Oh, for sure.
Really
like
cool
Glide, you can. I think it is the speed of build of Glide that just blew my mind when I had like about 2 weeks when I first discovered it, where I just dove straight in, and I was like so excited. I was like, I just made this, and my girlfriend's just like, what do you mean? And you just made this? I'm like, yeah, I can make anything now. Like this gives me superpowers. So it is. If you get into it, you can pretty much build anything. And yes, I'm not really pioneering it, but the tool was still quite limited. Even 18 months ago, they were only about 6 months out of their beta, and it just grew at such a rate that it's now like, and that's why becoming part of the expert community was fun, because we've got to kind of like have a bit of a hand in that as well, what we're looking to do next or what we wanted to build with Glide.
Yeah.
So some of the features now that are in Glide are definitely, we've all sort of like piled into it. We really need to be able to do this. And the team at Glide, David and the rest of the guys there, Jack is the spokesperson. He's the guy in all their training. And actually, if you've ever seen training from other like SaaS tools and things, it's nothing like Glide's. Glide's training, if you're looking to learn and how to use, I can't really teach you how to use Glide in an hour. But if you go and watch their training tutorials, the guy there, Jack, also a British Jack, he's amazing, and he is super thorough in teaching you how to use the tool. It's actually kind of like paid level tutorials, something that I've not seen.
That's
it's not a quick screencast.
Yeah,
and he actually started building out some different products. So one of apps that I shared with him about 6 months ago, he ended up turning into their first big training tutorial for building like a community that you were talking about. So
That's awesome.
yeah, he took a lot of the ideas that I'd kind of misused in mine, which is, I'll show you here, it's called Coach. So it was designed to, I work with a lot of authors, and my consulting business, I have to help people. I help people who help people.
Awesome.
So I built this this is actually a template. So Glide's fantastic. You can actually earn some money from it just by building templates as well.
I'm probably going to try to do that as one of the one of the experiments here. Yeah. So just for
Definitely,
everybody,
yeah.
you go to glideapps.com. Under resources, there's Learn to Glide. I was just looking for it. And so there's all a bunch of videos here
Indeed.
people have made for teaching. So I got to dig into that. Awesome. Perfect. Cool.
So I built this template, and I spent a little bit of extra time, and it looks like nothing now. You browse through it, like, oh yeah, that looks. It was all based around kind of like the masterclass. If you've seen masterclass, the website, it has all these like cool people you can learn from, or celebrities teaching you their skills and talent. So I kind of based it around that, just to have a bit of a theme. Even kind of stole their red and black style guide, but I wanted to like build quickly. So this is a pretty simple app, but it showcased some things, and I started to like play with Glide's limitations. I really like the idea of some of these no-code tools they're really hampered. You can't do everything, but actually if you work within the limitations and like refocus your goals within that actually you can be really creative. In fact, like staying within it's fun to break things, but also staying in the limitations means you can be quite creative. So normally I'd have gone and jumped in Canva or Photoshop and built like a nice header or graphic here, but actually utilizing transparencies, PNGs, you don't need overly complex graphics. Sometimes it's just an emoji and the background color and some hacky like MySpace style. Put a space to give yourself. There's no kerning option at the moment to like spread the text out in Glide, so you just put spaces and you can kind of like make it look like people do in their bios on Instagram.
Yeah.
So even little hacks like that to get things, and then I use a lot of like blank spaces to build extra white space in the apps, which again now that you can actually add a spacer, but at the time you couldn't. So yeah, this is really simple. It's based around an author or a coach, and that coach has courses that they teach. Then that course has lessons. So pretty simple. And as you drill down, you get further and further into it until you get the content.
Actually, I think I might not be on the screen share. I might not be seeing, because I still see the Maker Market Google Sheets. Yeah, something might be if there's an app, or maybe you're not. You're just sharing. Maybe you shared not your whole screen, but instead just the window. That might be
2 seconds. Apologies.
No problem.
There we go. Go back.
What's up, Manuel? Good
Remind me to do that.
You too. You take your time.
Yeah. Are you seeing that now, Max?
No, not yet. I'm still just seeing the Google Sheets.
Says it's
there
showing.
We go. Okay, now I can see it. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Okay, so this is this coach app. It's a template. You've got the instructors and the various courses they teach here.
Looks a lot.
And it's Glide.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you see Masterclass, it's pretty. Although Masterclass have updated recently, it looks super slick now. But yeah, Glide's framework has a lot of components, which if you look at a Glide app, like so many times I'll see something now and I'm like, it's a Glide app. You can just tell it's a Glide app. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's something they're working quite hard to kind of like get around. So there will be more flexibility soon. But I actually quite like playing with those constraints. So I built some really weird apps that didn't look like Glide apps because I wanted to kind of like get away from it. And when I dialed it all back and said like I need to build something that does actually look like a Glide app because I want to put it in the template store, and if it's too wild and free, people aren't going to be able to recreate it. So I just kind of put my head together. And yeah, when I shared this with Jack, he was like, "This is awesome!" And yeah, based his, I think it's like a free community. I think that he's demonstrating. It's about an 8-part course, and it takes you all through how to kind of like emulate lots of these features, but also goes on to some more advanced features and building things like you were looking for, like being able to induct members and let them have access to their own section.
Perfect. Yeah,
so that was kind of a template, and I make consistent little bit of like some extra cash on the side. It's a fun little side gig to build templates.
Yeah.
So I've got more of those coming up. I've got 2 or 3 that I'm about to launch.
I love how the insane amount of templates that you've built here, or the insane amount of projects that you've built.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
This gets out of hand, and actually Glide in itself as a tool, they've updated now. You can have an agency. So if you've recently launched an agency, Max, then you can actually have an agency. I know you have, so you can jump on this one, and that gives you kind of like unlimited apps that you can then like share just to one person, so you can build multiple products out really quickly.
I might do that, yeah, because I wanted to. Because I actually it was funny. I got a gig like a month ago ish, and basically all I did for them was they needed a site. It was a big nonprofit, and I got it through a connection of mine. But basically they actually let me answer somebody's question first. Hamsik, what's up? Nice to meet you. You're new. Great to see you. Basically what we're doing today is we're building stuff on Glide, and Glide, to answer your question, is a super simple no-code app builder, and I can actually link it in the chat. It's glideapps.com. If you go to glideapps.com, you can check it out. But Martyn's a pro at Glide, and he's built a ton of different things, and he's showing us how to build a little bit more advanced functionality in the tool and some of the cool stuff that he's built before. But yeah, so back to what I was saying. This large nonprofit, basically, I would love to spin up an agency like this because I was paid, I think it was like $1,100 to just something that took me less than a day. And basically what I did is I went and they needed like an editable little kind of, what's the best way? It's like a tree framework for kind of a quiz, right? So you answer a couple of questions and it gives you a copy paste bit of text that you can then pop into, say, a contract or something like that, right? So just a bit of text formatting based on a few preliminary things. And so it's just a basic tree of selections, and then it gives you something. So all I did is I have a paid Typeform plan. I embedded that on a card site, and you go onto the card site, you answer a couple questions in the Typeform, and it gives you the text that you need to copy paste. But simple things like that are actually really, really useful and really powerful for certain companies and certain groups. And so I would love to spin up like a simple no-code agency where I do something like this, where I use Glide, I use Adalo, I use Bubble. I would love to learn Bubble, but Bubble is just such a difficult tool to learn. So probably Glide and Adalo to start, and then using Card and Webflow to build anything else in terms of little apps and websites. But I would love to whip something up like that. I think that would be super cool. So that's probably something we're going to do at some point in the future on the show as well. But it's awesome. Yeah.
Definitely. I'll join you on that. No, I think there is the larger talk around no-code space and the people in the community. It's fantastic. It's growing so quickly. But it is good. And it kind of feels like we're just all like kicking stuff around at the moment, like and making these fun toys, and but there are some really cool projects coming out. But there is going to be this much larger, it will not take long until you've got sort of real world businesses, on their job description saying we need you to be. I think they already exist really, but we need people who can use these tools. And there'll be like a small team within a big company who just hack away and makes, you need this for your sales team? Yeah, then there you go, off you go. In the meantime, we're filling in the gaps as freelancers or agency, and there'll be space for everyone. But like you say, solving one small problem for someone, that's why you should never bill on hours if you're a freelancer. Because you could say, it took me 2 hours, or it took me 10 minutes. How'd you bill? When if you can build an app in 4 minutes, you're not going to bill based on your time. That's ridiculous. Exactly. So it's always based on the value. If you're billing someone, giving someone a quote, it's based on the value to them. Like, what does this problem cost you at the moment? And if that cost is X, well, give me 10% of it, And if that's $1,000 that you got paid, then
works great.
There's good money there. So never, ever, 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 ever bill on time.
Yeah, if you're building with no code, don't build on time. I like that a lot. Yeah. And Hamsik asks,
even more so.
Is it mobile based only? It is mobile based only. You can still access Glide stuff with desktop, but it is mobile based only. And then it'll show you a little phone when you go to the little Glide app thing, where you can actually scroll and interact with it like you were using a phone app, but on your desktop. It's kind of interesting. Actually, I have a quick question for you, Martyn. So one thing that people have criticized about Glide is that you can't put it on the App Store, right? With Adalo and Bubble, they have functions that allow you to put it on the App Store if you have a developer account on Google Play or iPhone or the Apple App Store. Yeah. Some people are kind of iffy with that because if you have it on the App Store, if it's a consumer app, then maybe it makes sense. Like if you have it on the App Store, it gives a little bit more credibility. Blah 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 blah. But I personally just like the idea of being able to send it. They bookmark it. It works like a web app and it functions like an app fine on
Yeah.
any device. So have you kind of interacted with like have you seen any like pushback there? Any like complications?
It's like you say, it's kind of 50-50. A lot of people just don't care. And my first question would be like, is it going to actually benefit you to be on the App Store? The App Store is millions and millions of apps deep
Exactly.
now.
Exactly.
And if you build anything at this, even anything that I'm building at this level, it's never ever going to rise to the top. You're never going to be found organically in there.
Exactly.
I'm not saying never, but realistically, what you're building at the moment is probably not going to end up on the charts in the App Store.
Exactly.
The other reason that Glide kind of almost like stranglehold that a little bit as well is because of what a lot of people are building. You just won't get in the App Store. Especially Apple's, Google's different, but especially Apple's licensing through the developer program, you will not meet the standards. No way. There's just there's too many generic apps. There's too many duplicate apps. Originally when they first launched the templates, even for Glide, people were buying and downloading a template and then resubmitting it with a new icon in their own name. So if people are prepared to do that in the Glide ecosystem, think what happens in the app ecosystem.
Yeah.
Apple rejects millions of apps because they're just not good enough.
Yep.
So it'll be a long time, really. It's not to say that you wouldn't want to put it there because your users might find it easier to go there. But I think actually, if you, again, within the constraints, so when we can now send a link, I love sending a link to people. You can send a link on WhatsApp. You can send a link on Twitter.
Exactly.
And someone can, I've built apps. I've seen spreadsheets get posted on Twitter. So there's one I made for like the marketing roles at Uber. And when everyone got laid off at Uber, and I just grabbed it. It was an open spreadsheet, and I dumped it into a Glide app. It took me, like, say, 2 minutes. And I posted it back, and someone was like, "This is awesome!" And it's just now much easier to use, and people can actually search and find a job quicker.
Yeah, I honestly prefer being able to send apps via links. Like I genuinely think it's nicer. But I think I can honestly think that like 95% of people, you don't need to be in the App Store. It's unless your whole business model is being found natively on the App Store because you are a top app or something like that. Then being on the App Store might add a small bit of extra credibility, but it's really not going to be. Like you can do updates via Glide. It's a web app. It's a web app that embeds itself on your phone, and it looks like a regular app. It looks and functions like a regular app. You can't do anything else in it. It's not on a browser. But I genuinely prefer that. It feels nicer. If you may need the added extra credibility, fine. But I feel like that's going to go away as more apps like this start to be built with links. So I don't know. But yeah, I'm glad that you had some stuff to say there.
Oh, definitely. Imagine where we are. We are super early adopters.
For sure.
Everyone using this moment, and we're nowhere near that kind of up ramp. And by that time, the normal people who are going to try and use an app like this, they'll get it. On Apple, the ability to just save a bookmark on the home screen has been there since day one, since the very first launch.
And I really like.
And it never took off.
Yeah, no,
it was Steve Jobs' idea of how it would work. The App Store was like a bit of a throwaway. There wasn't even an App Store when it first launched. So we were meant to use it, and using the open web and So I think it's lovely. I just use everything as bookmarks on my home screen now. I think a lot more people. That is the friction though, and it does happen a lot. The kickback I do see in the community is a lot of people building their apps kind of in their head saying like, I've built this pro level app that's normal, and it's just that slight dissonance between when you say, oh, this is how you download my app, and people go, they just kind of short circuit and they go, that's not how I download apps. I have to go to an app store, and it's kind of like counterintuitive, like, yeah, but this is stupidly simple. You click a link and they're like, that's not how I act.
But it's all about what the customers are used to. Yeah, so it's tough. So there's going to be some friction for a while. It's not always going to be the best thing, but I think it works totally fine now. And for early adopters, that like if it really solves a problem, like I think you're gonna be fine. But you will have, if you're building like a consumer app that people just kind of download, there will be a little bit of friction. So that's a good thing to keep in mind.
Indeed.
Yeah. Hamsik asks, what's the difference with Adalo? Adalo is a bit more visual in terms of a programmer, and they have a whole lot more. So this is more for displaying data. Web apps in this case are more for displaying data. When it comes to Adalo, the main functionality that they really like to use there is databases. Like they have their own databases and everything like that, and the databases are updated by the user. So the user will sign in and they'll sign up and they'll put in their email, their username, their blah, their whatever, right? And their information, like I have a cat, I have a dog, something like that. And then you can customize what the app looks like based on that, right? You can customize what the user sees based on that. And that's a typical app. This is a little bit more like of a simplified app, so it's more for just displaying data that you have on a back end. And also, you can include little things like chat or basic little app focused kind of functionalities, but this isn't like a full app. This is more of a web app that doesn't have too much user interface kind of sign-in stuff. So
I would add to that though, Max. You can do some crazy stuff. There's a startup game, almost like a text-based game. One of the things, I've got something here that from Sticker Mule. Sticker Mule's a great place to get stuff printed, and I love their stuff, so I try to rebuild their site and their functionality into an app. And I do this a lot. Like, I'll build stuff to try and test my skills or to like play with things, and then it looks pretty good, so I just send it to people. I send it to makers and creators, and they're like, oh, that's cool, can I use it? I'm like, yeah, go for it. So like, I'll just test my skills. If you don't know what to build or you don't have an idea for an app, just like build something based on someone else's content or idea. Obviously don't steal it, but reach out to them afterwards and be like, hey, I built this, is it any good to you, or can we collaborate? So like, I built this one to Sticker Mule, and it's just kind of silly. It's just a complete rip of their website as an app.
That's awesome.
But it might be useful because technically you could come in here now and order their products, and it could link into their database. They could use Zapier to link the app and their existing tools. So you can try anything, and you might actually end up with a contract or a job or something out of that. If you're trying to freelance or get some work in your local area, then it's a great way to do it. But yeah, in terms of simplicity, that's one end. But there's something called Supervalo. I'm going to send you. Is it even going to? Oh, no, that's a Wikipedia entry. That's not what I wanted. Let me see. There it is, Supervalo. So again, I recognized it as a Glide app instantly. And the idea of building a game based around it, I'm not actually logged in, but I might be able to. Let's try it. Why can't I sign in with? I can sign in with Google. So this is actually built around Glide, and the idea is it's meant to be a bit like it actually tracks the latest batch of Y Combinator entries, and then based on their current product and pitch, you kind of get to rank and tell whether this startup is worth investing in. So you get to basically be a VC for the day. Or
interesting. Yeah. It's like fantasy football, but for startups.
It's fantasy, yeah, exactly. It's
That's
fantasy football for startups in a Glide app. So, and I've seen other games being built in Glide, and I've worked on a few just fun little things. Actually, kind of like the simplest thing you can do is like a choose your own adventure. Choose your own adventure is really easy in Glide. So you can like click things and go somewhere else. And so if you want to start like gamifying your apps and your tools, then yeah, you can do that super easy. But I've got access to it. I haven't played it that much. I just don't have time. But yeah, you can build your startup portfolio in here. So cool. This is all basic Glide. And again, they've misused a few things. There's no onboarding tool at the moment, so they kind of use this arrow and this image here, and then they'll make it disappear once you've seen it once. So there's loads of stuff going on that's a little bit, again, misusing the tools.
Yeah.
But it also does in the background, it'll add up your user table, like the league tables, and it will spit out the winners and which startups have earned the most.
That's
that
really
was
interesting.
Really
so
big.
Yeah, you can, and you straight up have a profile. Okay, so maybe there's something more that I didn't kind of. So yeah, I think Adalo is a little bit more visual in terms of how they do things, but they seem like they have a little bit more advanced functionality in terms of like actions and integrations and stuff like that. I think, but beyond that, it sounds like there's everything else you can do in Glide. That's super cool. Okay, awesome. That's super fun. I love that fantasy football for starters.
And
that's funny.
I think Adalo and obviously V1, they're both great tools. They are much more visual. You kind of get like a Figma editor. You can kind of move stuff around and like clip and be sort of more granular. And that's just not Glide. That is very much this is what you get. But you can, and again, I like the constraints of Glide, and I really like the visualness of Adalo and V1 as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So it just depends on how you design. But I think if you're looking to integrate things super quickly, like this works really nicely.
Yeah. So I did. So one of the things that you can just demonstrate really, really quickly the speed that you can do things here. I'm going to go behind the scenes. Actually, just quickly, this is another one of those products. I reached out to Jen. This is kind of in the no code and Twitter space, and he had this product, and I bought it, and again I was like, I like this, but I want it as an app, so I rebuilt it as an app for him, and reached out to him, and we're working together now to release this to the followers. But yeah, this was just it was started out as a PDF and just turned it into something that's a bit more interactive, so you can still come and read the book here. So this is the PDF, and then there's a little bit of that gamification down here, so you check this and it then shows you the next step that you can go to. So it's kind of like choose your own adventure. And yeah, just reworking this, so instead of downloading just a PDF which looks horrible on your phone, you get an app that, you can actually, there's actually a sales page here as well, so you can like buy the app on the app and then get access to the product on it, which is kind of a bit Inception, but it works really well. So you could link to someone this from Twitter or Instagram. If you're an influencer or a creator or someone, you can say, here's my latest product. They can be looking at it, they can pay for it, and then instantly the experience updates, and now they are using it. They've got it. They don't have to go to Gumroad or somewhere else and download something. Nice. It's like all there.
I really like that. The app. Yeah.
So there's some good stuff there, and I think actually some of my ideas that I'm working on now came out of building this one. So it's always just fun to take. If you don't have an idea, you don't know what to build, just look around at something you've bought recently or something you like, and just try and like modify it. Could you turn it into an app some way?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I like that a lot. That's such an interesting. I like the idea of like reaching out to somebody that has a website or is a relatively popular in some space and be like, hey, I made you an app really quick, and it genuinely took you like 15 minutes, but it's like the best, most exciting form of outreach. It's like, holy crap, they went through the whole process to program us an app, and because most people don't know that this kind of functionality is here, so that's fun.
Yeah. And from that, you can also do fun side projects. Like I've started just messing around with different elements in Glide. So I tried to rebuild a manga book. A nice little.
Yeah, I really like this.
How does a manga app work, or any kind of like storytelling? Because story is engaging, and we all want to borrow it. So can you tell us? And actually, the original idea was I built a small storybook for a children's author. And it's great because kids can just slide through. It's one of the first things we learn now is how to slide. So they can just use the gallery option just to slide through the tiles, and it's got big letters, and they can follow the story. So then I was like, okay, I can make it a little cooler. So this is actually a hidden button down here, but you click on it, and now, we've got a gallery, and I just use GIFs. GIFs are great. You can embed GIFs anywhere in Glide. You can use it as the app icon.
I like
so
that.
Actually, if you look up here, the app
I saw
icon
it actually moves.
Is actually a GIF. It doesn't work when it's on your phone.
I wouldn't imagine. I don't think that was an added thing. That would be a cool added thing.
That's a bit of a
future.
shame.
Yeah, no, because it would look so fun.
It'd be so good.
Yeah, that's sexy.
But all this app is stupidly simple. It's about 8 lines of a sheet, and here you can just skim through. Like you can read your storybook. I just went.
I like that a lot.
Ripped these from Google, but all of a sudden you've got your story, and I think if it's longer, you can actually click on them so you can tell more of a story. And you can have this could be the intro, and when you click on it, it can go into the list item, and you can see a lot more detail or have more elements. But I just like it so simple. Like you just swipe through this and you read your little book. And you could be someone who you could be an illustrator and you want to just get something out there. So you create a little webcomic or something, and you can deliver it in an app, and you can update it. Like you say, in the App Store, it took ages to update. With the Glide app, if your followers have downloaded it, you can charge them like Patreon style, like $2 a month, and they can get updates live in the app. There's loads of ways you can use this.
I think the manga app, I think that's a really, really clever little thing, because I know people that read manga on their phones constantly. I feel like you could, I just like the idea, having an app for a specific thing, right? I usually did, our previous little idea was an app for a party, right? You have a party, and the only way that you can get into this party is if you have this specific app, right? And you're really, really careful about the people that get that app. You only send the link, and you have to pay to get access to the full app, and maybe like a QR code that you sign in, stuff like that. Just in general, that makes things way more exclusive, right? It feels so sexy just to be like, oh wow, there's a whole app that I have. There's a whole app just for this.
This guy's got an app.
Yeah, exactly. It's cool.
It opens up a whole kind of worms, because again, we're going to have 1 million or 1 billion apps that might not be that great or useful. I think we're definitely creating a lot of digital trash, which Yeah, I've started thinking about a lot more like this stuff lives somewhere. This lives on data servers in Arizona or at the bottom of the ocean or
Mm-hmm,
wherever.
mm-hmm.
And the more we make, the more we need to keep it cold and keep it stored forever because it's meant to be living in the cloud. So yeah, everything we make from now on is technically, I've created a lot of digital trash. Even in Glide, I have a lot of bits lying around that I'm never going to use. So that's the other thing. I don't think we all need to go Marie Kondoing our data just yet, but it's something to think about.
Yeah, I saw
Um,
I saw Google did the thing with they dropped their they recently pulled it up. But they dropped a database to like the bottom of the ocean. They just used the
yeah,
cold down there to which I thought that's such a funny idea. That's so
yeah,
freaking
bro.
only Google would do that. Yeah, but hey, it works.
Yeah, it brings a whole new meaning to like water cooling your computer, doesn't it? So gamers out there will be jumping down. So I don't know. For me, I've got a couple of options now. So obviously, this is my pro app. This is the account where you can set up and share stuff as an agency. So I've got like a whole list of pro apps. Some I'm working on for Gens,
Mm-hmm.
some I'm working on for other authors and makers that I follow. I've in the process of this is the tool that we said we were going to create here. Maker Market is based on a spreadsheet, so there is nothing that no one's missed anything here. But this is how easy it is. I made a glide app and connected it to my Maker Market spreadsheet,
Mm-hmm.
and this was the result. So I didn't do anything. All I did was connect it, and this is the result. So if I wanted to, I could launch Maker Market as an app now, so that people on mobile have a better experience. Which I think the card does a really good job of switching to mobile, but it's not always the best, especially with the sort of date. There's no database there, so it doesn't really praise very well. So as an app, it's way better.
That's
Like
super
if you
cool.
were looking for something, you could open this and it would work. So I made this in about, well, I didn't do anything. This is all I did just before we jumped on the call. I connected, made a new glide app, connected it to my spreadsheet,
That's
which
so
is the
cool.
first thing you have to do if you start a glide app, you have to connect it to a spreadsheet that you already have. So go and fill that data in first, and then or find a spreadsheet, and then this is what happened. It popped up.
That's
But you can do
awesome.
some kind of pretty cool things with this from here. So just to give it like a real simple outline, it's already pulling in like the main image, the same image that's being displayed on Maker Market. It's pulling in the same headline and description. And you can change these all down the side here. It's all kind of like, it's incredibly intuitive, I think, Glide. So that's the main thing for me here. But yeah, if I wanted to change like the tile layout or design, again, very, very few options. But again, that you just get out of your own way and say, that's good enough. What else do I need to do to build this? And then you can have some overlays. What's the thing that I was thinking of doing here? Okay, yeah. So actually, this kind of works, but what I'd prefer to do is nav a whole page. So there you go. So now I've got a slightly different layout, so you can see more
Hey, you just
products. But
changed that's awesome. Wow.
yeah, so now it looks like this is like the most basic demo of
Yeah,
Glide you
yeah,
could
yeah.
possibly do. But now you've got something that looks a bit more like a marketplace instead
Mm-hmm,
of just like a
mm-hmm.
long stream. We could go to Square because I think the images are formatted for Square for 1-to-1. So that's kind of looking there, but actually the text looking a bit big. So we can just like make that a bit smaller and maybe up the lines. You can also sort of just limit the amount of items you show. So we can only show 12 items now, which means we've got some more space. Here's our mascot. So, and then because it's all listed really, really simply, the thing we can do here that we can't do in actually on the main site at the moment is click into the listing. So I can click into here and Glide will automatically pull in like all the data that it can find, and then it'll allow you to reorganize it here and move it
Perfect.
around.
Yeah.
So I could come in and just spend 5 minutes. I normally delete most of what it pulls in automatically and
Yeah.
start from scratch, but it generates like auto links to different places, and it really wouldn't take like long to really pull this around into something that looks like a decent app that someone could download and start using Maker Market. In fact, I could just use these as links. Of course, all these, I can actually just change this so it doesn't go anywhere, because that just seems like more effort. This seems good enough for most people at the moment. So what I could do is I could just make sure that if I come into features, instead of it clicking view details, so that means it would load the next screen. I can just come and say, open a link.
That's awesome.
And then that link is the link that I have here.
Yeah.
Or is it I'm looking for the affiliate link, because all I want someone to do is download this app, click on an item, and it opens the link that they go and buy. So probably just the link here. And yeah, now this doesn't do anything. It just
goes to
takes
the
you
links.
straight out to the
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So that's done. That's that finished. That's that product. We just made
cool.
it.
Yeah, just done like
it
that.
doesn't
That's
need
perfect.
anything. But Glide does do some other really cool stuff. So yeah, how you feeling? Do you want to do the little build?
Yeah, I'm down to do the little build. I would love to know a little bit about, like, if I wanted to add like a homepage, right? So this is Maker Market, like something like that, kind of like you have for the instead of just being a database, you have a little bit of a homepage for that kind of thing. How would I add something like that if I wanted to do that?
Again, it's all based out on the spreadsheet, and my spreadsheet doesn't have for Maker Market doesn't have any extra data, but I can demonstrate that in one of the other apps. So this would work here. So I'm going to jump back into Jens's app for Twitter for no coders. So here we have. So this has that option now. So
it's got home. And
the app while I'm demoing it, it has 2 tabs down here. Can you see those? So the sales is the sales page and the product is the product page. So in this case, like I'm hiding one of them until someone has paid. So you can like make it based on actions that happen. So if the person has paid, then show this page. If they haven't paid or aren't registered or signed in, show this page.
Gotcha.
So you never see both of these tabs. But this is what you were talking about here, like a landing page, or you don't actually have to always show data and lists and tables and things. So you can do it 2 ways. You can just kind of fill in. You can add these components here, like a text block, and you can just come and edit it straight into Glide. Or if you build it into a database, you can also pull it from a cell in Google Sheets.
Okay, cool.
So I completely rebuilt Jens's landing page just in here.
Gotcha. So if I wanted to create something like this, I would create a homepage. I would organize a bunch of different little. I would love to see where the text elements for all this is, like organized.
Yeah. I can open up the database. I have to be careful because Jens's product is paid.
Oh no, totally. Yeah. So the components on the right side. The components on the right side is all I wanted to see.
Oh, down here.
Organize everything.
Let me
like
find.
That. Perfect.
So if you wanted to, like, this is actually pulling in quote number 3 from the
Google
database.
Sheet. Got it. So you write it all in a Google Sheet. You make sure all of it's there, that all the stuff that you want, and then you just port all the information over and organize it on the right side. Cool. Perfect. Yeah. Awesome.
But if I wanted to, if you didn't want to do that, you can just come to custom, and then you can just come write your own text. So,
cool.
Hi guys, there you
go.
Okay,
cool, awesome, good. I'm glad that's.
It's easy.
Perfect, nice.
And actually, the endless undo in Glide, one of its unsung heroes. Like you can just endless undo anything in Glide. So whatever you do, you can just Command Z or something, or however you like to do undo. And yeah, you can just keep turning the clock back until you go back to where you were. So you can't really do anything wrong.
Awesome. Perfect. So cool. Yeah, I'm ready to go and do the build of this if you are.
Okay. So yeah, this is pretty much the similar case, like the idea of like taking someone else's stuff, not to steal it, but to actually like engage with them to like maybe find a collaboration, work with someone else online. So there's a guy called Andrew Campy, and he's super cool. We can link all of the stuff in here. He's got a little tool called Better Sheets, which is actually up on AppSumo. There's a lot of AppSumo references here, but yeah, he's up on AppSumo's marketplace at the moment. He's got a really good deal for like $20 or something to access all of his Better Sheets looms, and they're really cool. He basically helps people. He's a wizard in Google Sheets, and I've got an obsession with Google Sheets. Anywhere I can find a Google Sheet that's got some data in, I'm always thinking I could build an app from that. So I was kind of interested in him. That's how I got exposed to him. So this is his Better Sheets. And he normally charges $99 lifetime, but yeah, he's got a link here for AppSumo for $19.
Okay. And this teaches you how to use Google Sheets better?
Yeah, it's not like a ground up. Like he's not going to teach you everything from scratch, but he similar to myself. He'll teach you how to like abuse it. Like he built and launched the spreadsheet mall, so it's got like all the no code tools in a mall, and they kind of go up the floors, and they're just different spreadsheets. So he's built websites out of Google Sheets. He'll do creative projects in them. It's kind of weird. So it's just like a nice resource for me to go and like have a play and go like, Andrew's done something really weird in Google Sheets. I could take that and do something even weirder in a Google app, in a Glide app.
That's fun.
So he was a really interesting connection, and you can go check him out. Anyway, I bought one of his little tools, which was I'm a bit shy socially online, so I'm not very like comfortable with Twitter. I'm getting much better. Else we wouldn't be friends at the moment. But yeah, he had this thing called, it's like it's a Twitter template. I don't know why he made it. I think it was just a bit of a project. So he has this and actually this comes with the $19 AppSumo thing now. But I bought it, and it's a spreadsheet in Google Sheets with 100 like just short prompts for Twitter. You don't just post them, you kind of edit them.
Yeah.
And it's a quick way to get something together and tweet. And the idea is a bit like Jen's app, which is helping you with Twitter as well, is to prompt your mind to what you could talk about and the direction to engage people. I was like, that's kind of cool. I could use that. So I bought it. And then as soon as I get it, I'm like, I need this as an app. So this is how it starts. It's a bit of an addiction.
I love it.
So I took, this is the copyable template. And then over here, I added it to my own Google Sheets settings. And it's pretty straightforward. Like, you can use this as is. You can come in here and you can click to tweet. So he's configured it all so that you can just come along and use this link in
just a little URL link. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, but he's got some like crazy code, and this is where like even I'm by no means the best formula guy. There's formula wizardry in some of these apps, and Andrew is. So he's got this wonderful formula regexes and replacing different things. Amazing.
That's
I will
super
never
cool.
be able
I
to do
might
that.
buy that because a lot of my friends from college were like, you really love Google Sheets, right? And I'm like, yes, I absolutely love Google Sheets. And I built I was doing when I was just first getting started, I was doing some design work and some kind of prototyping because somebody wanted to build a new site. And I was like, okay, here's what it would look like. And I built the entire thing in Google Sheets just by like getting rid of the bars and organizing things in a nice little way, just as kind of like a Figma thing. But they were like, wow, you use Google Sheets for this? And I was like, yeah, you can use it for just about anything. And so I feel like I have a responsibility to people that I know to take that course. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's not quite a course. It's really interesting. It's more like an ongoing private podcast. Like, you can watch something and it's maybe 10 minutes or it might be an hour, and then a lot of people are like, yeah, but could you do this with it? And then like he'll feedback off people, a bit like yourself.
Perfect.
I'll give you an idea and you'll probably start building it next week, and that's fine, and you'll get someone else in. So kind of like the narrative keeps changing. So it's not quite a straightforward course, but it's full of inspiration, and he's a great guy. He's got some real good skills, mad skills in Google Sheets. So we definitely have a shared love for Google Sheets.
Perfect.
So this works pretty good out the box, but if I want it as an app, well, I need to jump into Glide and connect it. So it's pretty much what we did. Same situation. Like, we didn't really need to do anything. I connected it when I made the new Glide app, which is really, really easy. And then this layout is pretty much the default. Again, just like Make a Market, like this is pretty much where it starts. I think it did actually pulled in. It had an image. Let's just say format. So it had an image thing like this, which just didn't work for me. So all I did is just say, don't use an image. And then this is perfectly good. I don't need anything else. All I need to see is a list of tweets. And my goal was to be able to have this on my phone. I could find one, I could click to tweet, and then it would open Twitter straight away. So it'd be ready to post. So that's
I really like
much
that. It makes the most sense because people tweet from their phones, right? It's a mobile kind of experience. So it makes sense as an app.
Yeah, so for me, there was incongruency between like using this spreadsheet on a desktop and then being able to click. And obviously, a lot of people do live on their desktops,
of course,
tweeting as well. But yeah, if you're on your phone, you want something different. So my goal was to present this to Andrew, which I did last week, and we had a nice hour on the Zoom call, and we actually had to make a couple of changes, which he's made to his sheet now, so it would work. Because I sort of reached out and said, "Hey, do you want this?" And he said, "No, actually." I get a lot of people asking about Glide because I'm now the Google Sheets guy. So if you want to bolt this together, but it's not his thing, he's not as keen on Glide. He said, if you want to bolt this together, and I'll drop it in as a product and a template, I'll drop it into my community and my product as well in Gumroad. And then when someone downloads this, they can also get exposure to your product. I was like, oh, that's quite nice.
That's super cool. I love that.
Little nod forward. So my goal here is to create this as a template because there's some extra cool stuff here. So what it does, a bit like you were saying, joining words together and things like that to create stuff for that project you had. There's a settings option, which Andrew set up. So you just put in your keyword, your industry, your product, competitor, URL, and any activity you want. So I've got no code space, templates and training, marketplaces. My URL is MakerMarket. And then in the glide sheet, so that this takes the glide sheet one step further. You can come here into the settings and you can come and change what your industry is. So we could say Notion, for example.
Interesting.
Another favorite tool, and then now anywhere that the industry tag was listed will now appear in here. I don't know which one it's in.
Yeah, there it is. It just edited. Yeah, 5 years of working
Did it
in
just
Notion,
change?
5 tweets. Yeah.
There you go. So you go 5 years of working in Notion and 5 tweets. So now when you click that, I mean, it does work. It works on desktop just as well through Glide. Boom, off you go, and then you can figure the rest of your tweet out from there. So this is kind of like automation. What I'm doing, there's many layers to it. What Andrew was doing was kind of like just bits of automation, but taking some. I think the idea here is like the remix, like taking something that someone else has done. I like that kind of like maker remixes. Really, it's fun.
So I like this. So one question that I do have for this app, I was worried that when I was initially using Glide, and maybe this is a pro feature, when I was initially using Glide, everything showed up to everybody the same way, right? So when I edited that Notion thing, everybody that was using the app all saw Notion get updated because it was based off of one sheet, right? It went back and edited that one sheet and it changed it that way. Is there a way to do that for multiple, so every user can customize their own individual one? Is there like a sign-in process where it creates its own sheet, something like that? Or is it still... Yep. Okay, cool.
In Glide, it's private data, and actually that doesn't get stored in a Google Sheet. So you can say this is a private data field, or I think there might be a different word for it, but it's eluding me at the moment. But yeah, you can have your own data. So I could set this up and take it to that next level. Andrew's idea was that, just wrap it as a template and you sell that template to my community because they actually want to do it themselves. It's kind of like something, we all want to play with this stuff. Yeah. So he said, if you wrap it up as a template so that people, and a video, so I'm probably going to like take the video that we're recording now and a little bit of that live stream and say, here, this is how it works. So it gets very Inception all of a sudden, but hopefully they want that experience. They want to take Andrew's product and my knowledge and piece it together, use a new tool, and actually they can modify it themselves. They can change the colors, do whatever they want. So for that market, that works really, really well.
Perfect. Okay.
But yes, if I wanted to release this maybe as a collaboration with Andrew, as like, hey, and we could extend it, we could say, hey, if you pay $2 a month, you can get like unlimited new Twitter examples to use, for an example, then we could make it so that you can log in. It's a unique identifier to your login, and then when you come and do your settings in here, that this wouldn't change for everyone. It would only change for you.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And so how do I set that up in terms of a private little thing? Just because I think that like being able to write stuff down and create your own little database on your own little phone in a little app, like you create a journaling apps with that way. You can do anything that way. There's a ton you could do. So I would love to see how you do that if it's quick.
That's nowhere near as quick, but it's not something that's out of your view. But again, Jack and the training with Glide, and I will just defer to Jack because he's made such amazing videos. And if anyone goes and has a look at that training now, they are they're not super lengthy, but they're done so well, and the quality of the training is amazing. I don't think anyone else can beat it. So I'll do is I'll direct you exactly to the piece, to the time code if you need to in that, because it's a little bit more. You've got to follow it and click through, and I think we can have a bit more fun here. So we'll put some show notes together.
Yeah. Perfect.
Show notes will contain it all. So this is kind of fun. So I did that, and I think my goal is to wrap this up into a Gumroad product. And then I've actually my second launch is some card templates. So I've got I built some app landing pages that I want to sell as templates to the card community, but mainly to the Glide community. So a lot of people that I see building them, they use the basic Glide landing page, and it's a bit boring. It's kind of basic. It does what it does, but I think actually if you want to present your product a little bit better, you can use card obviously to share that, and a lot of people do already. but there's not a lot of templates out there. There's the basic ones that come with cards. So I've been sort of working on building these. I've got various styles. So someone can purchase this along with my template, maybe for the coach one, and they get like a template and this together. This is where you can start bundling your own products together to create a package which someone might find attractive. So my idea was to take this Better Sheets template and build modify this this framework here, and then launch it as a product, which I'll wrap in Gumroad, and then I will probably add it to Maker Market anyway.
Very cool. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so this is just a little thing that you built to showcase, because the glideapps generates its own kind of little landing page, right? Like if you go and visit it on your desktop, cool. It gives you a little QR code, fun, but it's not like super fully functional. Yeah.
So if we do this, you can go here, and then it makes this. It's a nice little landing page.
It's cute, but it's clean. But if you want to add more, like if you want to talk about what it actually does, and like add like some pricing things or anything like that, or add like a little Gumroad kind of download thing, you can't really do that here, right? So
no, exactly.
Being able to like use card and something like that, I think is perfect. I'm absolutely going to use one of your landing pages for selling an app for sure in the future.
So that's the idea. We can build some cool stuff, and actually layering these things together. I think that's the no code space. So if you can do something over here and you can do something over here, you can probably do something over here by combining them. They're all building blocks. So exactly, this is now it's dirty because it doesn't have a transparency, but already in here I can just come drop this in. It needs to be a transparency. We'll take the smallest we can. There you go. No. Oh, that's big. But yeah, already there you go. We can now write our own things, and then glide app, or in this case, it would be to a template so that they could download the template for themselves and start working on it. And then that would be perfect to Gumroad.
Perfect.
So that would work as well. So card it all connects. I think you can use these. None of these tools need to exist in isolation. If we go right back to the beginning where I was sort of showcasing how I built Maker Market, using Spread Simple and kind of hacking it or misusing it and embedding it in card, and then keep twisting things until you get what the result that you're looking for is key. And I know you do that a lot as well, like Minecraft as a co-working space. Funny. Not what most people use Minecraft for. So that worked pretty well.
Yeah, it's actually working really nice. I was supposed to hop on. It's funny. Actually, tonight I'm going to do it because last night I was too tired. But at 1 a.m. tonight, or tomorrow morning, I guess, I'm supposed to hop on with a call with somebody in India that owns a couple of co-working spaces. And they saw my post on Reddit on r/co-working. And they were like, hey, could we use this as part of our, as part of an offering for our members? And I was like, sure, yeah. So
why not?
There's a little B2B deal for a freaking Minecraft server, which I think is hilarious. So yeah, it works.
You'll be spinning up those servers, and you have a chain of franchise of co-work spaces. So is there something else? Like what are people saying? Is there any interest in Glide? I know a lot of people do like it or have not perhaps been exposed to it, but it is one of those things that you do kind of need to jump in and just play with. Like it's so simple and so easy, you really can't go wrong. I can show how quick it is to actually spin up a site or an app. Sorry. Yeah. So just once you've got your account, which is just authenticated by Google. You have to have a Google account for Glide because you need to use obviously Google Sheets to begin with. That may be changing, but if it's
their own database backend, yeah, that's super cool. That makes sense.
Here we go. So exactly. So this is. There we go. Let's do it again. Let's just do this live. So I've been building my second brain in Glide as well.
Your second brain. Ooh.
Yeah, you're not familiar with second brain?
I don't think I have. No.
I opened a can of worms. It's like a productivity thing. Yeah, you're gonna die. I'm not even gonna go into it because you're gonna be like.
Word, I support it. That's funny.
Oh, what was this? So this is what did they import? Did anyone see what I clicked on?
I don't think I did.
That was another project. Oh, this is another project. Okay, we can roll with this. So there's a whole bunch of no-codey people in here, which you'll probably recognize. Mm-hmm. So this was an early project that I'd sort of just stalled on and didn't pursue entirely. I might revive it at some point. Let's revive it now. So the idea was to put a list together. Like you jump into the no-code space, and there are a lot of people. They're mainly on Twitter, and to begin with, you have to go like poking around and you find, you know how you can like find the threads and you work your way around the community and figure out who's who, or you could just go and jump in Ben Tossel's like wonderful community of MakerPad.
Love
Are you in
MakerPad.
MakerPad?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's where I learned all my no-code stuff. I took a month
Yeah, there you
every
go.
day to did a new little tutorial. It's super great.
Yeah. So Ben's obviously awesome, and MakerPad's great. And this isn't again meant to be a community to like rival that, but it is. I think this is where the inception for Maker Market came from, because it was like these people are making cool stuff, and yes, we see it on Product Hunt, but it just disappears afterwards.
Yep.
So you could have it as like a little tag or a little group of people, and there's lots of versions. But I was just playing at this point. So right now we've got a basic list. So this is what Glide did with the new feed from the spreadsheet. And it's not terrible. Like you could just launch this if you want to. It does something. It's pulled in some funny looking icons, so we could fix those pretty quickly. But this list here doesn't really work for me. I don't like the long list items, so I'd prefer cards.
Yeah.
So you can just come and click on the cards. And obviously, again, our imagery seems to get cut off. So let's go and try square.
Aha.
That's definitely looking good. And then obviously, if we go, we did this before with so it's,
nice.
like I think I've been counting as 3 clicks or maybe 4 clicks, including the spreadsheet link. So
I think that was just
now we got
3
that.
clicks.
I think that's 3 clicks. We're done.
I love the sass. That's great.
So there you go. That kind of gets us halfway there. Now you can spin through this. You can even search. So we can do. We just search for Ben. So there's 2 Bens. That's nice. Or straight box. That's working. What else could we do with this? So actually, one of the things that I do a lot, and I started doing this early on with Glide, we could just go and completely trash this here. So details is a strange, it's only got one use case, and that is you can normally just use one line in the spreadsheet. But if you misuse it, you can use it as a template, like a blank page, to come and create your own layouts. So that's a bit cryptic, but I'll show you exactly what I mean. So we can add an inline list here. And we want to pick it from the people. So this is one inline list with a group of people in it. We want their details to be the bio and the caption to be. So it really is like click and do here.
Okay, so you deleted everybody from people. You made your own list template. You still pulled the same information. Status.
There we go.
Profile. Okay, so that's the image link. Okay.
Why is that profile not working? Image. Let's use the image. There we go.
Yeah,
so now we've got this rebuilt, which doesn't look any different to what we had before.
Yeah.
But now if we change this to cards, we can do some cool things here by spinning them horizontally. So
interesting. Because you put an inline list instead of just okay, got it.
So the inline list allows you, but you can't do this with an inline list on its own. You have to like embed an inline list on a blank page.
Yeah.
And now I can change all sorts of things. You know, we'll come and do this again. We'll make them smaller. We'll make them square. And now we've got a list of people that we might want to call sort of like. I think I was going along the basketball ideas here. So these guys like or sports. So these are MVPs. These guys are the top level guys in the no code space. And Michael Gill, KP. They're also very active in Product Hunt, obviously. So we're representing these. It's kind of making a directory of the people in the space. So if you're new to the space, you could jump in here and you could instantly start connecting and reading everything from these people.
Love, very cool.
Kind of like a celebrity hit list. But that app now looks really, really dull. So what we should probably do is build on this. I like to kind of like use some text, some random text, kind of like. So let's do Hall of Fame. Stick with the sports stuff. And this is where you don't even need to be in Google Sheets once you've got your data in there. So I prefer that big. I prefer it all caps. And actually, I think I prefer this kind of like nice and small. And then I also, because there is no way to space stuff properly in here, I just like using some spaces to build it out. But that leaves us with an issue. So I go and grab blank spaces. This is a really good hack for all no-code tools. Like if you can't do something to like leave a space, or you don't, just go and Google like blank character space. and that works quite
Okay,
nicely.
that's really nice. Yeah, usually I just had like 3 spaces, but sometimes that doesn't work in terms of formatting, so you gotta, okay, cool. Good to know. 5
No,
spaces.
yeah. So yeah, doing 3 spaces won't work. So you go and grab a blank character, and there's like 6 different sizes. I think this is an M space.
That's so
So that gives
cool.
us
I
some
love
proper
that.
spacing, and that's actually kind of like giving us some style now as well. Like you can, there's a few options in Glide. We could come actually over here and should probably do some bits to start. Like we all love dark themes, so let's go there. Let's make this an orange. Let's go geeky with some kind of like digital old school. Again, Glide's limitations. There's only 4 types of typography. You can't go into Google Fonts and choose your font list, your preferred font. So there are some issues. You can
I'm
hack
sure
a
they'll
little
update
bit
it in
there.
the future. I'm not worried about that. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I think in the out of respect for them, they're trying not to end up with like a million MySpace apps
No, yeah,
because people
absolutely.
just dive in and go, duh,
Yeah.
because I think that's just happened with iOS 14, and now everyone can have a a home screen that looks absolutely awful because you've given control over to people who don't really know how to design an app. So
Yeah.
I think they're in there within their rights to like say let's keep the
Let's keep it
guardrails up for a
simple
while.
so people,
Yeah,
can build real good. Yeah, I like the design. I like building in Adalo and Glide for sure because
hmm
they have like at least like a lot of like base templates, and a lot of the things that you automatically create are created in a nice design structure.
yeah,
And they give you all of the stuff that you need to start, so you don't mess with it, you don't change it. As if you don't change anything, it looks good, right? It looks like a real app, right? Whereas
yeah,
people without design backgrounds like me can totally fuck it up really quick if you
yeah.
try too hard, for sure.
Yeah, if you haven't got the slightest inclination or even care about like UX and UI and design and color and there's so each of those skill sets are years of work and knowledge to do them properly. And I think that is the hardest thing in this space now. And I talk to a lot of the other Glide experts, but it's like, how do you deal with like getting someone jumping in on someone's app and they've gone to town on it and it looks terrible. Like no one's ever going to use this app. So that's where coming back to like stay within the constraints and just do what it does until you figure it out yourself, because you could make something you're going to make something that nobody wants to use. Even
Yep.
I've made lots of things that nobody would ever want to
Same.
use.
Absolutely same here. Yeah, it's the
There's
nature of the
nothing wrong
game.
with that.
Yeah.
So I've come in, we've got a bit of a brand coming together now. We could change the signing and the sharing, but we don't want to really do that. I think the main thing we need to do is give this a home. So let's just finish this. So that this is being updated at the moment. It's not charging me that. Actually, Glide does a lot of stuff for free or very, very cheap. But yeah, this one is the early beta for the agency domain. So it still says it's charging me. No code. Bio. Max. There you go. It's like the big version. So now you can copy this, and we could probably go straight over to it, and it works. Yep, there it
There you
is.
go. Love
We got
that.
a password on. We have a password on it, but that is now live. So let's just go and take password off public. There we go. So now it's completely public. And you asked a question about does this work? Does it work at all? Is it going to let us in? There it is. So it's an awful looking app at the moment, but yeah, the profile one or the people one works.
That's so
And I
cool.
think you said, can you use this on desktop? And it's a pro only feature, so it has to be a paid app. But in terms of doing that, I always forget which one it is. They've made so many new updates, so you can come and like edit the home screen and be like, change all your stuff.
Yeah.
My favorite one.
Y'all know what to do here.
I don't know. I just get like, this is where putting messaging. I've got like a background in marketing and copywriting things, and actually layering all those skills together when you build these things, or just being playful and having fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking like your audience and things like that. Whatever it is, just so we get bored of the please fill in your email. Like make it fun, do something
Yeah,
different.
I
Like
agree
Glide
completely.
just feels fun. So it really is like Lego. It's like I could just mess with this stuff all day and see what happens. So you can afford to be playful at this stage,
I like
and you
it.
can drop the Glide team have been pretty good, so you can like drop an emoji in here,
Hey, that's fun.
and that can you could just get rid of that, and then you could just leave it as the emoji and kind of be So in fact, any ASCII character, this is a like secret one as well. Any ASCII character at all can be dropped anywhere into Glide, so you can create some cool different styles
That's
in the
awesome.
background.
I really like
But yeah,
that.
that's like really basic.
Yeah. Cool. So, and then you said there was a desktop way to define things?
Yeah, so the desktop, let me just double check I'm in the right place. They move it. So yeah, you can set things up as template. I could sell this as a template now. You just have to put a price on it, and they take a little bit of time to double check that it isn't a duplicate. But yeah, you've also got things like connecting to Zapier and Google
That's
Analytics.
Awesome. Yeah, I want to play with that more.
Go and drop that in.
That's cool that you can use Google Analytics on your app. That's awesome. I didn't think there was a
Yeah,
thing.
app analytics are really interesting.
Yeah.
It's a separate profile on analytics, but it's
okay.
really nice to see
That's awesome.
the flow that people go.
Yeah.
And actually, Glide just updated last week, and you can actually now do deep linking, which has been on their timeline for a while. So you can actually send people to a specific part of your app, which is definitely something you couldn't do back to our other conversation about the app stores. There's no way you can send someone inside an app. So that's really nice. It's pretty fresh off the press, but it will become a bigger and bigger feature that you'll be able to use.
That's super cool. Yeah. So actually,
here it is.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
So it's pro only, so you have to have a paid app, but it does allow you to open in desktop and tablet mode. Sorry, it used to live somewhere else, and they moved it recently. So if we go over here now, and obviously we're on a desktop. If anyone wants to go to and see this app live, it's here. We can, or you can just actually one of the cool things is you can just put your phone up to the screen. You can scan that.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna do it right now.
Go on then. Let's see if you can do that.
Yeah. Let's see what we got. No code boy on Max. Glideapp. Boom. I don't know if anybody can see that. That's working fine. Yeah.
Nice. There you go. So you can.
That's great. Add this out to your home screen for easy access, better experience. Let's add it to my home screen. Because why
Please
not?
don't. Actually, you and I can keep working on this. Maybe you and I can collaborate. We'll work on this app.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
So, but if you're on a desktop, you can full screen it. And Glide's implementation of this at the moment is pretty basic, but it does give you, actually the more and more you use, if you use a lot of Apple products, and you've got something like it's probably updated now, but like traditional like Notes app and things like that on Macs or on more so on tablets on iOS, it looks very like similar to iOS's basic, somewhere between iOS's basic and Google's Material Basic styling and framework.
Yeah,
so
but this
not terrible.
Works fine. Yeah, this actually reminds me. Have you seen Universe as one of the no-code apps?
I think I signed up for it a while ago.
Yeah. It's actually kind of fun.
Is it? What is it again?
So I have it on my phone. I like playing with it. Basically, it's a phone app. You build websites on your phone.
On your phone.
And
is it not?
It builds websites that look like this. Like it's a big, like if you go on your desktop, it looks like a bar, and it's kind of because it's optimized for mobile. But if you're making mobile websites, like you can bookmark those the same way. You can sell things around the website. It takes me like 5 minutes while I'm on the bus on my phone to just like make a new little website. And it's kind of fun. So like I want to play around with that just as like a little tool. But it does not have advanced functionality. It kind of sucks in a few different ways. But like if you need to whip up something really quickly or just like a prototype that you can show people later, it's super fun. Yeah. So that reminds me of that and how it looks.
If we're geeking out on tools, then have you seen Play? Because this takes it to the next level.
I have not.
This is an app builder that you use on your phone.
An app builder that you use on your phone.
Can you see that? Is it streaming?
Yeah, I can see it.
This is sick. This is like it's not actually out yet. I don't think I'm on the beta list. And hopefully put it in now so you can get into it. But this is this gets very.
Okay, that's really fun. And so this is focused on applications instead of websites. Okay.
Yeah, but if you can I like the idea of being. I mean, the Glide guys. I've got an iPad Pro, and using Glide on the iPad Pro is almost there. I'm not sure about building the whole app on my phone. I kind of want that extra space to like do things and move stuff around, but it looks slick, and if it's anywhere near as usable as these screenshots show, this is going to be like next level. That's it. I'm throwing my desktop away. I just want to sit in a hammock and use this to build apps for people.
Oh, that's great. What a fucking good day that would be. Jesus. Just read a book and have your phone and then build some stuff. Ugh.
You could be getting paid. You could be at work sat there doing this.
Just chilling on
So
your
I like
phone. Yeah,
that.
that's fun as heck. I like. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna sign up for that right now. What
Yeah,
is that?
for now, Glide definitely. Yeah, Glide does work on iPads, which is really nice, on a tablet, and it is a really nice experience, kind of like touch screen building apps and things. It's like, oh, this is now it feels tactile. It feels like because you're making something that people are going to use with.
Yeah.
It's meant to be a tactile experience, so building with it as well is really nice. So I think that's why play would end up being kind of fun. Let's jump back into here quickly and have a little refresh and see what we can do to bring this up to speed. So
I'll sign up.
I'm actually going to
for that
quickly
later.
jump in and get rid of all the tabs that we don't need, because I don't think we need all of them. We'll just trash these ones.
Perfect. So we just have people, nice and basic.
So we've just got some people, and then the fastest way of this is you can just duplicate any of the components. So I like the way this list's set up, but I want it to do different things.
Gotcha.
So in this list of people, I think that we're going to jump into the features now. So this is how this list is represented. And the quickest way to do it is to filter it. So we can say that not the name, we could filter by name, but it seems a bit pointless. Let's filter by status. And then I think up here we have a tag in this sheet called MVP.
Ooh.
So there we go. So now we're only seeing some like MVP people.
Yeah.
And then we can come back out to the other one and we could filter by. I think that's working. Filter by. Actually, we could filter by name. So we want to change this up completely because this is different. Okay. Actually, I need to open the sheet and see what some of these working in public stuff. Hold. Come on, load this up. People, what have we got? So actually, it's good to see behind the scenes here as well what this does. So actually, what I did, and this is the speed, the application now to get up to speed quickly. If you do, a lot of the things that I play with, I'll take a list or a sheet from somewhere else. But if you're going to build your own, that's the time when you really start, like, you get stuck in the mud because you're going to go and like build this database, build this spreadsheet. So I use tools like Phantom Buster, anything where you can go data scraping. Phantom Buster's great.
I use it every single day.
Exactly. So if you're gonna build something with Glide, it's a really good way to start to kickstart it. So I use Phantom Buster. I just plugged in one of their Twitter scrapers, and I put in a hashtag of no code, got like 1,000 people and I did trawl through it to get the best. I think I listed by followers first, and then a number of followers, and then kind of cut that down again. And I can't remember. I think there's maybe 100.
That's so cool. So you just scrape the whole dang list. That's so great. You scrape the whole thing, pulled off of using Phantom Buster. Phantom Buster is free to use, by the way, just to first experiment with. You get like 10 minutes a day on the baseline. I pay for it because I use it every day for a ton of stuff.
It is awesome, isn't it?
But yeah, scrape the list, pop it on the Google Sheets, and then you just port it over to Glide, and boom, you've got a freaking app for a database. That's so fun. I love that process.
Yeah. I mean, it would take a little bit of planning. I mean, you might be able to build it at speed in public, but yeah, you could probably set Phantom Buster up, scrape it, dump it. Well, it can straight away put it into a spreadsheet, I think, or download the CSV. And then if you weren't worried about cleaning it up, you could go from having no data, as long as you've got one Twitter handle, you can go from having no data to having a working app that does something in probably less than 10 minutes.
That's so fun. I love that.
So what we're looking for. So this one has status. I've got MVP, and I've got I can't remember what AS was meant to mean. RT draft. There you go. There's a new people. So yeah, it's kind of like sports analogy. Let's go grab one of the other ones. Let's do AS and see if.
I like draft. Yeah, that's fun.
Let's do draft then. Includes. There you go. So now we've got some different people being pulled in. So I've said, does status include draft? And then anything that's in status. And the reason for that is that they could exist in multiple things. So if this one had draft and MVP, then it would still show.
Okay, awesome.
So we've got a Hall of Fame coming up here. So maybe we should change this to draft. Newly drafted. There you go.
I like the
really
the concept of like newly drafted, like the sports analogies is fun.
Yeah, people have popped up in the space. See who they are, but we need that space back again. I use a really cool, if you're on Mac, I use a cool tool called, what is it called now? It's just for any emojis or ASCII characters, just in a menu bar tool. I'll try and find it if you're interested. And this means I can constantly grab like any of these little tools like spaces and checkboxes. And again, if you're not on a phone or a tablet, like having access to emojis, it's gonna be a pain. You end up Googling things 10 times over.
For sure, yeah. I always Google like this emoji or this emoji, yeah. So that's nice. I don't use Mac sadly, so I think I'm screwed there, but
it's called Glyph Finder. If you're on a Mac, it's called Glyph Finder.
But there's
really
a
nice.
Chrome application I could just, or a little Chrome app that I could pop on, but I'll find something. But
yeah, exactly. You can do Chrome toolbars. So here you go. This newly drafted one. So we definitely want to we can get rid of this because we don't need a header now because we've got this newly drafted header. And the main thing we want to do here is I can make it super simple. I could organize. I've already filtered by the status. And if I come here and say I only want to show one item, and I want that to be big, and now we're kind of making a featured tile out of this. So that works quite well. We could limit the amount of stuff that's shown there, so it could just be a name. Yeah, we could remove the bio as well, and it could just be. There you go. So that looks like a nice.
Fun. Oh, I love this. Okay, yeah.
No. And what else could we do with this here? So it's just kind of messing around. You can also add overlays and things, so you could let someone favorite this person.
Hey, that's fun. Okay.
Little heart icon.
And then I get a pro account for this. This is great.
So you can add a tag up here as well to say this is today, new today, and all of this information could be predefined in the spreadsheet, or you could just literally come and add a new thing, a new element. And build that into the app. So it depends how much you want it automated. And then I'm quite happy with that. That works for me. It's newly drafted. I like fine tuning things. So I'm going to bring. What will we do here? Let's just go for the classic cup. Let's go jump into the title. What's the title? Newly drafted. I just want something to break this up. There you go. So if you've got an eye for design and you like playing with things, there you go, newly drafted, you just come on board.
I love that.
And all of a sudden, now we've got something that starts to look a bit more fun, a bit more playful, something's happening.
Yeah.
If you want to actually make this do something now, so obviously, like I did with the Twitter app, we could just link out from here to someone's Twitter bio, so that could go straight to we could use the link that we've stored about them here. But what we could do is actually jump into their into the database behind that list item, and we could go and play around and see what happens inside there. So let's just go into people and KP. KP's picture's fine.
I like the cartoon kind of.
Yeah. Actually, there's a few more things I need to do. So you can change the icons for your tabs and tiles and things, but it's not always necessary. Sometimes
are you gonna have multiple tabs on this, or is it just gonna be one tab?
I don't like multiple tabs. It feels super old school to have an app with. I like the single pane scroller, and then really you can build navigation in. So maybe we do that instead. It's just so we could make it really simple. We can come in here and add a button. So on the main page, we're going to come and add. So there's a ton of tools in here. We're not even scratching the surface, but that's what Jack's for. Y'all are going to love Jack.
Button is up at the top left, I think, or close.
Yeah, I was looking to see if there's something else we could add in here to make it interesting, because you've got comments and.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll stick. Yeah, you can. Yeah, this is where
a signature thing. You could have people sign for contracts and stuff on here. That's so cool. You could build a little DocuSign.
It's endless.
That's so fun.
Yeah, DocuSign is. Yeah, it does work. There's a lot of things if you were building for clients, be careful with HIPAA compliance
for sure.
in the US and stuff, and data but yeah, so. There are, again, those are some of the constraints for projects and building for clients. But if you're building for lawyers, then you just go hey guys, this is not going to be meeting your needs. But we can give you a demo. So yeah, there's so much we could do. We can't turn it into a full tour of Glide, but yeah, let's go grab a regular button. And like I did this for the mango example as well. So let's go check out the halftime show. Let's just run with this idea.
Sports analogy, yeah.
So check out the halftime show. You've got like, you don't have unlimited. You have 4 choices of button style. You have filled, transparent,
yeah, but hey,
bordered.
Like, it fits the typical design scheme, so I don't want more functionality than that. That's all I need. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, but now it's good. I think a bit like card as well. I think some of the ways that like AJ made the basics of card, and you can't really do much more. You can like round the corners and that's it. It's kind of the same here. Like, and some design trends kind of come out of those limitations as well. I think there's so much, like Apple do just the big card and that's kind of it now. You don't get anything else. So it's kind of something influences. It's a mirror. The tools we use start to mirror how we want to design stuff.
Absolutely. And so from the button that links to.
We have a choice. We can make it link to anything we want, really. So we could just do a basic interaction. We can make it dial a phone number. We could link it to a web view. So yeah, you could pop up your type form in here. That's a pretty early integration. You can't integrate type form. Glide doesn't have like core integrations. It's got Zapier, so you can do things so it can talk to other applications. Yeah. But it doesn't have anything like card where we can come and like drop a bit of code and say, hey,
embedding is
it doesn't like embeds.
Okay.
So, but you can do web view if something will allow a web view. You can pop that up. So yeah, there are quite nice ways to bring in different. There's so many form tools out there, but you can bring in a form tool and get it working.
Okay, cool. That's good to know. Yeah, I'll look into that.
So from this point, let's just link to a screen, and we can link to any one of sheets really as a screen. I'm trying to think out what we could do. So let's go to the tools. The tools page has a bunch of obviously cool tools, and then I think that'll do nicely. Let's actually let's just go and demo that and see if it works.
Yeah.
I love the fact you don't have to. Everything's always live, so that's done now. We can like come back here and refresh and.
Perfect. Oh, give it a second.
Oh, it's freaking out or something.
Sometimes I've actually had some trouble with card. I really like card, and I use card for everything. But sometimes card will glitch out and be like, the servers are flopped a little bit. And I would assume when you rapidly update stuff like this, I can't imagine it's.
Yeah, you're building like web apps on the fly while we're streaming. Like
give it some
everyone thinks amazing and nobody's happy.
Okay, cool. So is it going anywhere?
There you go.
Nice. Okay.
Oh.
And so how would I customize that screen without creating a tab in Glide?
So yeah, so that doesn't have a tab as such. So the next section onto there would be to like customize these to make them look like these or something like that.
Where do you just find that in Glide? Oh, I guess you just go to the page in Glide.
Yeah. So you can just kind of keep looping in on itself. We can do the next level and the next layer, and obviously when you're finished, you really want to go to the nth degree, but that's the kind of stuff that just takes time. It's exactly the same process we did here. We can go from that list to a different type of lists, and there's 100 ways to keep going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. But
awesome.
As like a really like basic overview, like we took a list that I'd made. Well, actually, I think the important things here are like how to collect that data if you don't have it. Key takeaways, we're like how to generate ideas, so you can just like use someone else's data is a good thing, as long as you please don't steal. Try and collaborate with people, and that's a great thing. Here, if you don't do that and you need your own data, like, and you're a big fan of Phantom Buster and sort of web scraping, go and collate that data. Just pick an idea, pick something that you could like build around really, really quickly, like a hashtag. And you can be doing something in the background, like it could be social, it could be something that's happening in the community, and if there's enough information around it, it could be an emergency tool, wildfires or something. And that was an example someone did. It's actually a guy in the fire service. He built a relay app so that he knew where he could put it out to his local community when fires were coming. And he built it with glide apps. It's one of their first case studies.
That's so cool.
Almost anyone can do it, so it's a real fun tool to play with. But if you bring that information in, so you could scrape it using Phantom Buster, and then it really doesn't take a lot. Even if you just jump in here and start playing around, it really is like you've got a bag of Legos or something, and you can just like play with them and be like, oh, that fits there, and that fits there, and this color looks good here. It really doesn't take long to kind of get an idea of what to do with it. It does, however, take a long time to really refine that.
Of course,
because
everything.
normally
Yeah, if you have to customize every little thing, like it's gonna take time. That's fine. Yeah, but to get prototypes up and running and test the functionality, make sure something works, and then pass that off to somebody. Like I could do a customer interview with some new person and say, oh yeah, like I'm having a lot of trouble with internal managing of, like I interviewed thrift stores a long time ago. It was one of our first case studies on Entrepreneur. I interviewed like 5 thrift stores locally just to see like, couldn't we find a problem that we can solve, right? And I thought I found a problem, didn't really find a problem, didn't really work, ended up kind of flopping. But let's say I go to them and they're like, you know what? Like it's just hard for us to manage when it comes to all of our, it's hard for me to quickly check what's in stock, right? What's in stock in our different stores. And I'm like, okay, well, like what do you kind of need to show that on, right? Like what do you need to view that on? They're like, like it works mobile. I'm not around my computer, and so while I'm walking to different stores or traveling between stores, I need to check, etc. Something like that. And then maybe, okay, well, cool, that's an idea. You build a little app, something you whip up something in a day. You send it to them like, hey, would this kind of make sense? You could pack some stuff in a Google Sheet and then just check and have people auto update based on something like that. But like you can whip that up, you can check it out, you can do it even right after a customer interview. I think it's a really, really nice prototyping tool. So.
Like taking that and taking your customer base, this is my problem when people come to me with not even a half-baked idea, just not an idea, like they don't have an idea. So you've got a thrift store, and typically a thrift store, they would never have an online. So a lot of them now use eBay if they've got surplus or quality stuff they want to get rid of. Use eBay or something. But you could have a local community that wants access to that stuff, and actually using Glide, you could build a very small like independent marketplace, or not even a marketplace, a store. And if you imagine the amount of crap that gets thrown at thrift stores every day, and they've got to sort through it all, their guys in the back can literally use the app that you've made for them in Glide to sort of like the eBay app where you can like shoot a photo, tag it, put the price in there, and list it into their web app, so that people who are sat at home or in the local area going, oh, that's really cool, they've got that done. Oh, I'll go and pick that up. They could give them a digital store, which they probably wouldn't bother doing normally, but it just means the tool's in their hand, and there's no gap between the person sorting and the results that now the product is online, because you wouldn't bother because it's only a one-off item. But you could do it so quickly using an app built in Glide that it would make it worthwhile almost.
Yeah, I really like the idea of just like having, because I like you can input your own stuff and then that adds to the Google Sheet, right? Like that little basic functionality, just like you have a backend database on Google Sheets, super simple little backend. You can go and edit it and it reflects on the app, but you can also just click a quick button, add something really quickly in a super easy to use interface, and then boom, you've updated your little thing. So I think that use case, just being able to quickly add data in a nice little app on everybody's phone, makes a ton. Like take a picture, add a thing, whatever. I think that makes a whole lot of sense. Just in like a ton of different use cases, not just retail or anything like that. But yeah, awesome. Love it.
It's the problem with Glide. As soon as you get into it, if you like it and you get it, it's a deep rabbit hole, as with all the no-code tools and things. Sorry, Max, I stopped sharing my screen. I think, I don't know whether you want to wrap up in a bit, but if you want to flick back yours and we can get back to your stream. You got such a good setup as well.
Yeah,
I like your setup.
Things are good. Yeah, that sounds fine. Could you make me host again on the Zoom thing, and then I can pop over. I don't know how to use Zoom.
No, Zoom is endlessly annoying sometimes.
I'm sure there's a way to set, like, everybody involved can screen share. I'm sure that's in the settings somewhere, but I am just not prepared for most stuff.
Make host. There you go.
Perfect. Awesome. Nice.
Got it?
Share my screen. I'll share that one.
So I feel slight deviation from some of our ideas. We just talked quite a lot we went broad on lots of ideas, I think, instead of like deep into like a build.
That's fine. That's what I like.
I'm glad we got to like build something here at the end, really, really small as a demonstration. But yeah, I think Glide is one of those things that you can it's super creative. It like almost inspires your creativity. You can like just get in there and play. So I would advise anyone that's like, we didn't really make anything, like just go play with it. It's endless fun. Out of all the no-code tools, I think it's the most fun to play with because it's the results are instant and like they're quite rewarding, really. I've taught my little stepsister in Australia like how to build a little directory of these weird things she collects, like collectibles and things, and now she
That's
loves
so
it. She's
fun.
like, I want to. It's like, who wouldn't want to build their own app for their toys that they collect and organize them all?
I
And
love
like some
that.
super OCD, she's on it. So
That's so
yeah,
fun.
you can. Actually, I think teaching kids some of this stuff now, it's as much fun as Lego, and just as educational as well. Like
Oh, for
Glide
sure.
is definitely a tool that anyone can access and
I
get
agree
used to.
completely. Yeah, I
Um,
taught
but
I taught some stuff in actually I have a friend in high school. Her name's Cassandra. She's super cool. I met her through one of my Krav Maga classes, and she really likes writing. And so one thing that I did recently, kind of prototypey wise, I was like, by the way, like you do a lot of writing. You're experimenting with a lot of different little things. Do you want like a blog at some point, like just to kind of showcase some of the stuff you're doing? She's like, oh my god, yeah, isn't that like really difficult to do? And I was like, no. And we hopped on a Notion call for half an hour, and I showed her how to set up a little Notion blog that she can share to different
yeah,
people and customize her own little like URL, and it just like worked. And all this stuff is like considered like some like tech, building websites, building apps. All this stuff is now becoming to the point. I've taught middle schoolers how to do entrepreneurship. Given little lectures. I
yeah,
could honestly show this to some middle schoolers, and they would get it. Like it's insanely accessible, and I love it. That's why I try not to do any coding or anything like that on the show, and I just use stuff like this so everybody can get it.
same.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Actually, I think you and I've got a shared thing to go take it all one further. Banner Bear. I think we were talking about that, weren't we,
Yes,
as
I
well?
love
We'll kind
Banner
of
Bear.
end on this, but Banner Bear is definitely like it's between code and design and on all of this, and it's kind of like a hidden tool. Yeah, you can pull it up there. It's in the kind of looping back to Maker Market. I've got a lot of these tools all stuffed in there, and um, Bannerbear's just next level. Like you
I
can
love it.
generate. I mean, a lot of people are using it for social media. Like if you're an account manager for a social media company, something, this is a great tool for you. You can just like you don't even have to outsource it anymore. Someone will just make your banners and your posts for you. But yeah, for us, like I've actually built this into an app before where I'll send the data and it'll come back and it'll actually whatever was in the spreadsheet, it'll come back with an image, paste the URL, and then Glide will display this image in the
That's
app.
so cool. So you actually were able to
Which,
integrate Banner Bear via Zapier, I'm assuming, with like,
yeah,
so you just do it all in the app. That's so cool. I really like
mm,
that.
it works
Ooh.
well. I'll try and share that with you.
Yeah, I would love to see that. That's super fun. So actually, I found Banner Bear recently because I was like, okay, I need to build like 40 different images for all my different little podcast thing, my little live streams on my website just
Yeah,
to showcase them. It worked really well.
perfect.
I really liked it. I know somebody in the Instagram space that he was wanting to learn some code and he just tested a couple different little things. He built a couple little, he used Buffer to schedule a ton of posts ahead of time. He has a paid Buffer account to schedule like 100, 200 posts ahead of time, and he made Instagram accounts that were based around old books like Sun Tzu, Art of War. He
Yeah,
took a ton of quotes from those books. He just in order to test his programming skill and learn like a little thing. It took him like a month or I think to build a little program that did this. But he just input a bunch of little quotes and it built a little template and it just created Instagram posts or Instagram pictures that he could then schedule on Buffer, and it just did all of
mm,
that. But Banner Bear is exactly what he kind of programmed, just in a more like customer accessible kind of way. But he gets
yeah,
paid by a couple different clients, like $1,000 or like a couple $100 a month, just to do this and create these things and just make those books for their books, right? As an advertising
there's a
kind of
business
scheme.
there.
It's just straight up a business. You can make an agency off
Yeah,
of this one tool. It's
yeah,
crazy. It's so crazy. It's just about finding the clients. It's so I love that. I just think it's awesome. So
yeah.
dope. Yeah.
No, Bannerbear for that purpose, like you say, just one person. You could be a one-man agency. You
Hmm.
could say, yeah, I can take. You almost have endless clients because if you say, hey, here's a spreadsheet, or here's a form, because you can link a form to a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So if you say, here's your form, you fill it in whenever you want new content. You say, I want it. This is my quote. This is my da da da. And then that's sent, and you just link it through. You can make like an automated sales tool for all of your clients, and you never have to touch the product. You never have to deal with them because they just input the data, and you never have to deal with them on the other side because it just sends it to them in a spreadsheet.
Hmm.
Or you could probably go one further and deliver it to them in the app. I don't know. We could go on.
Yeah.
And all you have to so yeah, all you have to do is sign them up. All you need to do is get that sales. So yeah, all digital marketing and the
It's just an
tools are all good.
advertising
Like
problem. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an advertising problem. Like the tool and the technology is not the issue anymore. You've got to be able to get out there and meet the people and fight. Back to solving the problems. Like I like your concept, like literally going out the door, turn around from this space. And I've said this to people before as well. When I'm teaching stuff, it's like turn around from your screen, literally go outside and see what problems you can solve.
Exactly.
Because there's hundreds of people trying to solve these massive, big, hairy problems online. And actually, there's like mom and pop shop down the road, and if you could do something for them, they might pay you like $500 now,
Exactly.
which at this like right now might cover your rent or something. You know, like might cover groceries for another week. And if you need that, like literally do that. Find a no-code tool, turn around, go and find someone to help outside, help their business, build a food delivery app or something. You know, all of that can be done so fast, and that's actionable, and there's cash in hand as well. So, yep, there you go. Go help someone build something else.
Awesome. I freaking love it. Yeah, this was super, super fun. I have a ton more stuff to jump into Glide. I'm glad that there's a bunch of, I'm glad I know where all the tutorials are, because this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to build a ton of stuff on this in the future for sure. So.
Yep, keep me up to date. I want to join again at some point, and we'll catch up and see what you guys have been building.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, I'm gonna give me a little time to experiment. I don't want to embarrass myself, because you're
5 minutes.
Cool.
You need 5 minutes max. Go. I'll get a coffee.
We'll start right again. I love it.
All right, it's been a pleasure.
Cool. Absolutely, this is so much fun. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
Cheers. Bye now.
Have a good day. Awesome. That was super fun. I'm gonna end the stream. I really got nothing else to talk about. I'm probably gonna text Martyn a little bit. I think maybe I'm worried, because I worried he might have gone and expected me to quit the live stream instead of the Zoom call, and then we would have caught up and stuff like that. I'm hoping not. That would be really embarrassing. So I'm gonna shoot him a text after this. But I have a call. But yeah, no, that was freaking amazing. I love that guy. Oh, we have so much to do. I really, really love Spread Simple. Like, Spread Simple is like such a huge problem for me. Just being able to create like small little databases, add them to something, embed them. That is such a perfect little problem. I think I had a small little idea like that. This opens up like 10x what I can build with Card and a couple other little things, and 10x what I can build with apps. This is so goddamn fun. Okay, so cool. We have a ton of ideas. We have a ton of experiments to run. I'm going to text Martyn back, make sure I wasn't being a huge freaking douchebag, but, like, fuck. We'll be building a ton of stuff in the future with these tools exactly. So, also, we're going to be building something for MakerMarket. If you want to check out MakerMarket, I'm actually going to give you the URL if you want to go and check stuff out there. He's got a ton of templates that we're going to be buying and using and actually testing on the stream for stuff like this, because this is like any way that we can. I'm not a designer. I don't know how to do this kind of stuff. Martyn clearly knows what he's doing when it comes to design elements and stuff like that. But like, I want to be able to just copy paste some basic things. So just having this stuff like just here works really nicely, because the components UI is like a bit of things that I can just copy paste onto Card and make a really, really beautiful website. So dope, lit, awesome, swag, dab, all of the goodness. Like that was so fun. That might be my favorite guest so far. So, but cool, awesome. We built some stuff. We made some things. We'll be doing. I have a ton of like things to jump into here. I'm gonna learn a little bit more about Glide, and we're gonna start building some really cool stuff. But Saturday is when we'll be talking. I'm gonna be riffing about this the whole time we're playing video games on Saturday. But cool. That's my whole shtick. Thank you everybody for joining. And if you have any questions, feel free to hit up Martyn. He's on Twitter. You can find his little Twitter bio, or his little Twitter link on the bottom right corner, right down here on MakerMarket. So yeah, I'll see you soon. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for hopping on, Hamsik. I'm super glad you had a good time. And Andrak10 also followed a little while ago, and I apologize that I didn't give you a shout out. But we're getting a bunch of Twitch followers. It's really cool. I guess we're cool on Twitch now. Anyway, so yeah, I'll see you all soon. Have a wonderful day. Let me know if you have any questions, and shoot Martyn a message if you have any questions for him. I'll see you all on Saturday. I hope you have a